Good morning, everyone, and to our televiewers in our YouTube account, DPWH Lanao. This morning, we will be conducting the private conference of the project with contract ID number 25KF0092. This private conference is conducted pursuant to RE 12009, in which requires the procuring entity to conduct private conference mainly to discuss, clarify, and explain about the eligibility requirement, technical components, and financial component. Among others, it includes also the discussion of activities in awarding of contracts once project is bid. Importantly, this is the right time for discussions from the prospective bidders before the opening of bids. But before we formally start this pre-bid conference, we may have first our silent prayer, after which is the roll call of the attendees by the procurement head, Ma'am Hamima Sambito.
For televiewers, for the attendees of this briefing conference from the back members, Sir Waida Bakaru, back chairman.
Present.
Ma'am Johanny Mamayki, back vice chairman. Present. Sir Shalila Limuna, back chairman.
Present.
Ms. Truly Hamima Sanditori, head procurement. Nor Hanida Mustaka, member back secretary. Present. Saripudin Balco, member back DPWH.
Present.
Nor Jihan Makabandu, member back DPWH. Present. Nura Bani, member back secretary. Then Nihaya Sarif, member back secretary. Present. Ronet Chan Fabre, member back secretary. Akiba Pakarungkol, member back secretary. Present. We have no attendees from the observer and that's all for the attendees.
Since the back members is in quorum, we will now start to discuss the following: the contract data, technical and financial proposal, eligibility requirements, and awarding of contract by the TWG and the Secretariat. Good morning, everyone.
For the contract data, the DPWH Lanao Del Norte Second District Engineering Office, through its bids and awards committee, now invites bids for the hereunder works. The contract ID number 25KF0092, Basic Education Facilities Fund, Last Mile Schools for LMS program, Batch 1, construction of 1-story, 3-classroom school building, Pantaon, PS. Location in Poona-Piagapo, Lanao Del Norte. The project description, facilities for the engineer, other general requirements, earthworks, reinforced concrete, building, Division 2, building, finishing and other civil works, electrical and mechanical works. For the approved budget for the contract of 19,998,888 pesos and 14 centavos. And the cost of bidding document is 20,000. The contract duration of 125 calendar days with the license category of C and D under license classification of small B. That's all for the contract.
Any modification to the bidding documents shall be identified as amendment. Request for clarification on any part of the bidding documents or for an interpretation must be in writing and submitted to the back of the procuring entity concerned at least 10 calendar days before the deadline set for the submission and receipt of bids. The box shall respond to the said request by issuing a bid bulletin or bid supplemental duly signed by the box chairperson to be made available to all those who have properly secured the bid docs at least 7 calendar days before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids, and shall be posted in fugitives, conspicuous places in the premises of the procuring entity on the department website and or social media platform of the procuring entity. Uh, Reminder that all prospective bidders are encouraged to inspect the site and take geotag photos of it before the procurement process. As shown here is the geotag photos from the municipal hall. It would take 26 minutes right from the site, which is approximately 18.8 kilometers. Shown is the bill of quantities. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are shown. On the other hand, for the minimum equipment required, these are the minimum equipment required for 55K0090. So as per readiness of the contracts, shown are the approved detailed engineering design plan and program of work. So this is the floor plan, the elevations, sections for furniture details, the typical solar system interconnection, just single line diagram, the solar PV panel system, the water pumping stations. So as per DEO 82 series of 2025, all the DPWH projects shall be installed with this following project billboard standard. So we require all contractors doing business in our department to be registered with the DPWH CWR system as per DO 51 series of 2010. Always monitor and update your documents because expired CPA files will affect your eligibility results. So make it a habit to attach your Class A and Class B documents for your advantage. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission. You may be allowed to submit its eligibility requirements electronically with certification under oath as to the correctness of the statements made and completeness and authentic of the documents submitted. So as shown, here is the link for the online submission. For the submission and receipt of bids, bidders shall submit their bids to the respective duly authorized representatives using the forms specified in the bid docs into separate sealed bid envelope, which shall be submitted simultaneously. The first shall contain the technical components of the bid, including the eligibility requirements under Section 52 of the IRR, and the second shall contain the financial component of the bid. The first bid envelope shall contain the following: the field jeeps, the pickup license and registration, statement of all ongoing, statement of SLCC, NFCC computation, GBA and pickup special license if applicable, bid security in prescribed form, amount and validity period, project requirements, the organizational chart, list of contractors, list of contractor major equipments, and next is the omnibus sworn statements, sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership, then additional for requirement for corporations, the latest general information sheets or the GIS reflecting the beneficial ownership information or the BOI duly received by the SEC. For projects costing more than 30 million, ISO 9000 and 2015 certification is required. The second bid envelope shall contain the financial documents as specified in the Philippine bidding documents. First is the financial bid form, must be in accordance with the prescribed standard form, duly signed bid price in the BOQ, duly signed detailed estimates, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in the coming up with the bid. And fourth is the cash flow by quarter and the payment schedule. We would like to emphasize the right computation of the bidders and FCC. The NFCC must be at least equal to the EBC to the bid, which calculated as NFCC equals the current asset minus the current liabilities multiplied by 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portions of the projects under ongoing contracts, including awarded contract yet to be started, coinciding with the procurement project. So the values of the domestic bidders' current assets and current liabilities shall be based on the latest AFS submitted to the BIR. Failure to declare an ongoing government and private contract, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, including immaterial contract, constitutes a ground for disqualification. Submission of eligibility requirements containing false information or falsified documents. These are the standard form that will be used in the preparation of the bid docs. The bid form, the standard form for cash flow by quarter, bid securing declaration, bid security, bid and bid security validity period is 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of the bids. Should it become necessary to extend the validity of the bids and its securities, the procuring entity shall request in writing if all those who submitted bids for such extension before the expiration date thereof. So this is the standard form for organizational chart, the list of personnel, list of equipments, omnibus sworn statements, item 1 to 11, sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial or ownership.
The procurement process can be using LCRD. Under the bid evaluation, the BOC shall check the submitted documents of each bidder against a checklist of required documents to ascertain if they are all present within the non-discretionary pass or fail criteria. Above ABC bid amounts are automatically disqualified. The BOC shall also immediately conduct a detailed evaluation, considering the following: the completeness of the bid and the arithmetical correction. During post-qualification, within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the BOC that the bidder has the LCD, the bidder shall submit all the eligibility documents supporting its previous certificate, its latest income tax and business tax returns, and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents like tax clearance, mayor's permit, and DTI. Further, prospective bidders should not be included on the blacklisted contractor of GPTV. Moreover, for technical requirements, key personnel should be satisfied. Availability and commitment of major construction equipment, performance in ongoing government and private contracts. And lastly, for the financial requirements, the bidder's NFCC shall be verified to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award. We would like to emphasize the second and third section of this Department Order Number 9 Series of 2012 for the technical requirements for civil works projects for public building. For construction of building and bridges, accredited PE shall be assigned by the contractors. Ito po yung mga published DOs, accreditation of the DPWH contractors, and consultants PEs, additional PEs, and testimonial PEs. Please to check if nasa mga list yung mga PEs ninyo to avoid violation of this right policy. Shown are the minimum materials testing equipment for small contractors as per DEO 11 series of 2017. Pursuant to item 34.3B2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, and to ensure that all DPWH projects are completed without delay, all BAP are hereby directed to strictly apply, among others, during the conduct of post-qualification award of contract, the following guidelines. During post-qualification, the BAP shall determine the bidder's compliance through declared SNCC, the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel, the availability and commitment and inspection and testing for the capacities and operating conditions of major equipments, performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts, and the results of the CPES or the contractor's performance evaluation system. If the BAP verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects. One is Department Order Number 28 Series of 2024 for the three-strike policy in the procurement of contracts. Meron po tayong tatlong rounds under sa DEO na to. First is the withdrawal of bid. Second is the late submission of bids without valid reason. And third is the patently insufficient bid. Under the patently insufficient bid are during eligibility screening is the submission of the expired period certificate. During bid evaluation, failure to submit required bid forms, submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents, submission of unauthorized bid security declaration, omnibus word statement, and GBA, submission without the name, legal capacity, and signature of the bidder of its authorized representative, the nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required, failure to submit proof of ownership, lease or purchase agreement of pledged equipment, failure to submit the required certification of key personnel, failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment as stated in the BDOCs, and during post-qualification, the participation in bidding for infra projects by bidder whose allowable range of contract cost as indicated on the PICAB license does not match with the specific requirements of infra projects being bid for. If a bidder commits any of the three major offenses mentioned 3 times within a year, starting from the approval date of the resolution recommending the imposition of strike 1, which is counted as day 1 to day 365, and if these 3 offenses are of a similar or identical nature, it will trigger the enforcement of the stipulated administrative penalty or the suspension for participating in all DPWH procurement activities and entering into contract with any DPWH procuring entity. Moreover, the 115 series of 2021, this is about your CFAs or the certificate of final acceptance. So please kindly settle this before bidding. That's all for the eligibility requirement.
For the writing of contract, after determining the lowest calculation fund of the bidder or the LCRP, the head of the procuring entity shall issue a notice forward and within 10 calendar days, the the following documents shall be submitted by the First is the bid is conforming of the award. Second, for a joint venture JV contractors pickups, legal JV license and JV agreement, which is authorized. Performance security with authorized information. Contractors, all these insurance with the party with notarized information. Duly signed President's diagram method. Duly signed equipment utilization schedule. Duly signed power schedule. Duly signed construction method. Duly signed anti-heat management plan. Updated tax clearance with attached audited financial statement. Duly stamped received by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Notarized certification under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. And last, is a duly signed construction safety and health program duly approved by the Secretary of. The performance security shall be in the amount not less than the required percentage of the total contract price in accordance with the following schedule. For first form is a cash or cashier's manager check, which is 10% of the contract price. For a bank draft guarantee or a letter of credit, which is 10% of the contract price. And the last form is surety bond callable advantage, which is 30% of the contract price. The performance security shall remain valid until issuance of the procuring entity of the certificate of final acceptance. And that's all for the awarding.
Thank you. Since all contract data, eligibility requirement, technical and financial components, including award, and all discussed, this private conference is now open for questions and clarifications from the participating bidders. Since there's no participating bidders, may I request the Vice Chairperson, Ma'am Joanny Mamaiti, for the adjournment of this private conference.
Thank you.
Seconded. Thank you. Since this has been moved for adjournment and duly seconded, this private conference is now adjourned.